Hi, I'm Ashura, and today we're going to talk Dimensius, the Void Lord. We've learned a bit about Void Lords from Chronicle, but there's only one, maybe two, that we know of that are named, and one of them is Dimensius, who shows up 3-ish times in the game ever. Once in this quest line, destroying the All-Devouring, which I'm going to take you on a story playthrough of today. Once in reference to the Void Song staff, and once alluded to in one of Xal'atath's whispers from Legion. He is also technically brought up more throughout other ethereal content in the Burning Crusade, but the bulk of Dimensius lore comes from right here, starting with the very short questline called Destroying the All-Devouring. So let's start there. Now, this is a pretty old quest. It's from TBC, but what's special about it is that it not only gives us ethereal lore and background, it also introduces us to Dimensius, a Void Lord. As a Void Lord, he sits at the very top of the hierarchy of Void creatures, and he also lives pretty exclusively, along with the other Void Lords, in the Void. They cannot manifest in the physical plane for very long at all beyond a few moments. Now, Dimensius has actually done that a lot to carry out the Void's will and consume planets, from the planet mentioned in the Priest Artifact book to Koresh, the ethereal homeworld, and Outland, which we'll see a bit more about in this quest chain. Dimensius also has a relationship with Xal'atath, though exactly what it is sort of unclear. She was slated to be his harbinger, and we also know from some stuff in game that he gave her a staff during the height of the Black Empire, and that's about all we got. Whether she's working for him or against him at this point in the World Soul Saga, we don't know. But I thought it would be fun to go back through this questline, since this is like the first and only time Dimensius is ever mentioned in the game, not to say anything about the other Void Lords at all, and get reacquainted with some of this old lore. So let's jump right in. Amir might be worried about what the Ethereal are doing, but I'm squarely focused on the real danger here. Dimensius. Atop Manaforge Ultras lies the tear in the nether that the Void Lord Dimensius came through. That tear provides Dimensius with a link to the Void, rendering him immune to physical harm. If we can get a lock on the conduit that Dimensius is using to keep himself phased out of this plane of existence, we can destroy it, and then destroy Dimensius. To do this, we're going to first need you to collect fragments of Dimensius from the Void creatures that he sends out to do his dirty work. This is also not technically part of this quest line, but this guy gives you a bit of backstory on Koresh, and I want to go through that, because that also involves Dimensius, but it's actually pretty cool. What do you know about Ethereals, fleshling? You undoubtedly view us all in the same light, oblivious to the conflicts and struggles between the differing factions. Perhaps it is time for an introduction. I am Commander Amir of the Protectorate, also your only hope of resolving the infestation of both Void Creature and Ethereum in this area. What are Ethereum? The Ethereum were the ruling class of Ethereal on my homeworld of Koresh. Tragically, we were forced to evacuate Koresh shortly before the Void Lord Dimensius unleashed his Void armies upon the world and utterly decimated all that stood in his way. For this act, the Ethereum vowed vengeance. They have been tracking Dimensius ever since. The Protectorate, however, were not a reaction to Dimensius. We were a reaction to Ethereum. I don't understand. What do you mean, Amir? The Ethereum have grown dark, twisted. Vengeance has become their only recourse, and any that would stand in their way or not join their cause are considered enemies. Many saw that the Ethereum were plummeting into madness and left. Several of the Nexus princes of the Ethereum Council abandoned the Ethereum to form other groups and factions with different goals. The Consortium are one such example of an offshoot group, the Protectorate another. So what is your purpose? We feel that the Ethereum are as great a threat to our existence as Dimensius. Both must be stopped. I think I understand now. Can I help with any of this? The Ethereum and Void creatures are a threat to our survival as well. There's an Ask CDEV answer that goes a little bit more into detail about Koresh and Dimensius, so I'm gonna read it out on top of this. Koresh was an arid planet, home to a thriving ecosystem and several sentient species before the arrival of Dimensius the All-Devouring. How the Void Lord found Koresh is still hotly debated among the surviving Ethereals, but the effects of his coming were unmistakable. He opened countless gateways into the void and the twisting nether around the planet, bathing Koresh in arcane and dark energies. Using every scrap of its advanced technology, one of the mortal races hastily attempted to construct magical barriers around its cities, but it was only partially successful. Although the dark energies were blocked, the unimpeded flood of arcane energy tore away the mortals' corporeal shells and infused their souls with enough energy so that they could subsist without a body. Barely. Members of this race, now called Ethereals, took to binding themselves with enchanted strips of cloth to provide their souls with enough structure to survive. This altered state proved to be a blessing in disguise, as their enhanced minds and magical abilities allowed the Ethereals to fight Dimensius and his limited forces to a standstill. Over the years, however, Dimensius eventually grew powerful enough to summon armies of fellow void creatures, forcing the Ethereals to flee into the twisting nether. Worth noting that at this point, the fate of Koresh is actually a little unclear. There's a boss in the Mana Tombs, whose dungeon journal text says Pandemonius was one of the commanders serving under Dimensius when the ethereal homeworld of Koresh was destroyed. But there's other NPCs in TBC, other ethereal NPCs, mind you, who mention having just been called up from Koresh. I'm thinking it's going to end up as future plot content, so I think it's probably still out there, maybe in a similar situation to Outland. I don't think it was totally destroyed, but we don't actually know. We don't actually know. Have you collected enough fragments? Excellent. With these fragments, we can calibrate a bomb that will destroy the Void Conduit atop Ultras. With the Void Conduit destroyed, Dimensius' connection with the Void will be severed, and it will be left defenseless. Here it is. Take this phase disruptor and mount up. The Protectorate Netherdrake will fly you close enough to Ultras so that you can drop the disruptor on top of the Void Conduit. Drop as many disruptor charges as possible to ensure complete annihilation. When you are ready, speak with the Netherdrake and he'll take you up. If you miss the mark, you'll have to get more bombs from me before you can go up again. This is like pretty old lore. Obviously it sort of predates a lot of the cosmological reordering they did, especially in Chronicle. You only hasten the inevitable. In time, all will be devoured. But it's, interesting that him setting up a conduit to the void makes him invincible, and then you cut that conduit off, which means that we can now attack him and kill him, though we learned that we can't really kill people that belong to different planes, so to speak, unless we kill them in that plane, because they're not going to permanently die. Like, if we kill them outside their plane of origin, they're just going to return to that plane and come back. So, I feel like the original thing behind this quest was that we would permanently kill Dimensius, and then we got a bit of that new lore and new context. And I think what happens here is that we just kill him here, and then he goes back to the void. I think. The time to strike has come. With the tear gone, Dimensius is vulnerable to physical and magical attacks. Your brave actions have forced Amir to react. He has deployed Captain Saeed and the Avengers. Now all that is left to do is destroy Dimensius. When you are ready, I will call for Saeed. If he's not currently fighting another battle, he will be awaiting orders from you, directly east of here. Let him know when you're ready to fight, and he will put his troops in motion. I wish you luck, Fleshling. We've hunted Dimensius for 1,000 years. I didn't realize we actually got a timeline on that. I wonder if that means that what happened between Dimensius and Koresh was 1,000 years ago. Fleshling, I am Captain Saeed of the Protectorate, and these soldiers that stand by me are my Avengers. We await orders from the Fleshling who destroyed the Void Conduit. On that Fleshling's word, we will make our way up to Dimensius' lair and wait for the word to make a final strike. Too long has it been. The Void Lord will soon face our combined might. You heard the Fleshling. Move out! Tell me when you're ready. We will attack on your command. This is it. We charge on your orders. Just say the word and my men and I will engage. It's now or never, soldiers. Let's do this. For Koresh! For the Protectorate! The time for your destruction has finally come, Dimensius. Time only has meaning to mortals, insect. Dimensius is infinite. We are victorious. Dimensius is no more. Report back to the Professor, hero. For 1,000 years, all we've known is conflict. We've defended our people from the attacks of both Void Creature and Ethereal alike. Now one of our most hated enemies lies dead. Finally. I give you the thanks of 100 million Ethereals, Fleshling. That's the storyline. I mean, it's pretty short. It's 3 short quests. But that is Dimensius's one and only real appearance in WoW so far. Whether we end up going to Koresh in the future, or somehow becoming embroiled in conflict with Dimensius because of him being a Void Lord and everything that's going on with Xal'atath, that's pretty much the first ever look we got at him, which admittedly is not a lot, but it's where it all started. Okay, I thought that I would throw this in here too, because it's a little bit of extra added flavor on Dimensius, considering that we really don't know that much about him from in-game. But in the trading post, we got a few different weapons, and one of them was called Void Song Staff of the Harbinger, and the text on it says, "A gift of Dimensius bestowed at the height of the Black Empire. Those touched by shadow are drawn to its haunting whispers." And people found out that if you go up to the Twilight Hermit, he has very specific text depending on which weapon from that trading post weapons cache that you have.
Strength and honor.
Please, lower your weapon. I mean you no harm. You recognize my staff? Do you have any idea how ancient that weapon you wield is, priest? There was a time when this whole world was ruled by the Black Empire. It was beautiful. The masters bestowed gifts upon their faithful. That staff was one such instrument. It was given to the Harbinger so that one day she might... What? No, and I was not going to tell them. The orc goes silent, as if chastised by some unseen presence. This sounds as if Dimensius was Xal'atath's master and gave her a gift, but beyond that, we don't really know much. There is, however, one whisper Xal'atath has in reference to Dimensius. She says,
I long for the day our masters can truly pass into this realm. You have only seen fragments, shadows, the faintest of echoes. Ask the Ethereals what one of these manifestations is capable of.
Presumably referring to Dimensius. And beyond what is said in the Chronicle volumes about the backstory of the Void Lords, that's about all we got. So thank you for joining me and learning just a little bit about Dimensius, who I expect this is not the last we'll see of going forward in the Worlds of Saga. And that's all for now, and I hope to see you in the next one. We'll do this the hard way then. No! Where's my Xal'atath portal? Ah! Bro, there's no way I'm doing this quest. Now shooting electricity out of your eyes? Need more mobs. I don't know why I made that unnecessarily complicated. I read that wrong. Is there anything else about Dimensius? Cripes. They're so bougie. Like, what's up with this? Why would you have a floating plant and a mana forge? No, okay, yeah. I got it. Pain.